My name is Cindy Mootsey. This is my husband, Philip, and our son is Asher. We are from Memphis, Tennessee. Our life before the Family Hope Center was just a lot of unknown. We had a lot of questions. How can we help our child? What is our child going through? Are we doing the best we can for our child? And we found out about the Family Hope Center because we had those questions. So we got on the internet and started doing a lot of research and found them through our research and really liked a lot of what they said on their website and through watching a bunch of their videos. We just felt like it was already starting to give us answers to things that we had a lot of questions about that maybe our doctors at home weren't able to answer for us.
Yeah, Asher was born after a long and difficult delivery with hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, which is a little more commonly known as cerebral palsy. Just happens at a different point. High tone, so he's very rigid and spastic. Doesn't suck or swallow. He's got a lot of vision issues. He's been diagnosed with CVI, and he was more or less blind. He's got a lot going on. He's very mixed up in his mind of what things are and how to interact with things, what he wants to do. It's it was very delayed. Caused a lot of problems. We were in the hospital a lot of times, and which really gave us a lot of time to really think about what did we want for our son after dealing with a lot of therapists and doctors, and what alternatives were there, because when you're like she also said, you don't have a lot of answers, and we're the kind of people that want answers. We thrive on information and knowledge, yeah, and especially when it comes to your children and your child who's got this major trauma and things going on, and what can we do every day to help our child? And it really led us here. So
we ended up making the call to the Family Hope Center because we liked what they had to say and could connect with a lot of what they were saying on their website. So we made the call to find out about the parent training conference and decided that we could definitely dedicate 3 days of our lives to learning a lot about the brain and how it works and how it's going to affect our son. Once we attended the training conference, it was amazingly powerful. I remember the first day I sat there and just kind of cried because I felt like I was in the right place with the right people. And it was a lot of hope that I got just within the first hour of being there, and the hope only grew from that time. I mean, just sitting there and going through and hearing all this, I was just like, that's my son, that's my son. And then them saying, oh, if that's your son, here's how we can help. And no one had really offered us any kind of hope or help. They just said, let's wait and see. And now we were hearing, this is how you can, things you can do with your child every day to help him. And that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and being around a lot of parents that were in a situation similar to ours, of course, all of our children being very different from each other, really being around people that were going through a lot of the same struggles, because you don't meet these people on the streets every day, and you don't meet these people as much as time as you spend in the hospital. You're kind of in your bubble, and being around parents and being able to talk to other parents about their children and about the things that they were going through and what helped them, and then putting all the pieces together and kind of getting a roadmap for here's where we are now. As much as we may not like where we are now developmentally and everything else, at least we now know where we are, and we've got a place to start from, and we've got a place that we know where his deficits are and some of where he's doing well, because you don't really know. You think you know what's going right, and then you find out that you could be doing things a lot better. So having that roadmap to really lead us down a path to success and to meeting goals and milestones, and really doing everything we can to make our son achieve what he's able to achieve and give him those tools to do that. Was very powerful and very inspiring, and we saw the results pretty immediately upon going home and really starting the program on our own.
We put together a plan in the conference that we thought would work for our child, and we went home and immediately started doing it. We kind of did one thing, and then we would incorporate something new maybe the next week when we got more comfortable with this new program that we were starting. So maybe in the beginning we started some visual stuff, and then the next week we incorporated nutrition, and then the next week the coordination, just so we weren't totally overwhelmed with all new stuff. But I think the biggest thing that's changed for me as a mom is every day I get up and I know when I start interacting with my child that it has a purpose, and it's to help him, instead of just like, well, we'll play with some toys today and maybe, in a month from now it'll get better. But now it's like everything we're doing has a purpose, and it makes me feel excited to get up and do that with him.
Yeah. And, before we got to the Family Hope Center, our son was about 7 months old. We'd been researching, and then by the time we got everything set up to come to Philadelphia for the parent seminar, he was about 7.5 months old, and you hate that you didn't do it sooner. Now there's obviously reasons that you can't, being in hospitals and things like that. It doesn't always work out, but when you see the things that change and the basic interaction that you do before, and then when you see what changes afterwards, and it's a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of time committed to this. But our child, who went from not being able to see or talk or make vocalization noises, now makes noises, and he's now able to see things, and he's able to track. And so when they tell you in the seminar, and they tell you that we can make blind kids see, it made our child sees now, and he's made a lot of progress. Is it perfect? No, but he can look at a book, or he can find the lights, and he can track it with his eyes.
And this is just in 3 months.
And this is just in the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we are I was very skeptical, but I've become a believer in just watching what my child can accomplish. The first time you hear your child make noise, vocalize, when the doctor said he won't ever vocalize anything, it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we just would really recommend, making a phone call and reaching out to them. It doesn't mean you have to commit to anything, but just trying the 3-day parent seminar out and just listening to what they have to say. And if that works for you, then, just go full force into it. It really makes life feel a little more meaningful to us. So.
Absolutely, yeah.